Hi everyone, it's February 1st, 2024, and this is the weekly Backdrop Developer Meeting. We get together every week to talk about development tasks and priorities for Backdrop CMS. Everybody gets to bring a topic if they so choose, and then we just talk about them. My name is Nate Lampton. I'm Quick Sketch on the Internet, core committer, and technical lead for the Backdrop project. From Oakland, California. And we'll go around the room of the people present here. We'll start with Greg and then we'll go to Martin.
Hi, my name is Greg. I'm usually most of the year in Melbourne, Australia, but sometimes in Greece. I'm a Drupal support engineer for the past eight. Oh, no, it's more. Yeah, let's say 8 years. And my day job has nothing to do with Backdrop, but Backdrop is my favorite project to contribute to, and I'm happy to help in any way that I can. Let's go to Justin.
Hey, Justin Kaiser. I'm a developer in Muncie, Indiana, and I like to contribute to Backdrop when I have the time. So, Joseph.
I'm Joseph. I'm a developer from Las Vegas, Nevada, and I'm a core contributor for Backdrop. And yeah,
Thanks, Joseph.
who's next?
Jen and then Martin.
Jen Lampton, joining from Oakland, California.
And Martin.
Hi, I'm Martin, a developer in Northeast England, mainly contrib and very occasionally core.
Great. All right. Thanks, everybody. All right, issues for today. Well, let's kind of just give a little step back and about where we are with our release cycles and everything like that. We released 127.0 about 2 weeks ago on January 15th. It's been a pretty good, pretty smooth release. There was one issue people have been seeing cropping up with 127 that they get some PHP notices about undefined attribute wrapper or undefined property wrapper attributes when they upgrade to 127. But that's a temporary problem that can be solved by clearing your cache or visiting update.php. But right now that does crop up. And the weird thing that I think people were finding unusual is that usually you can visit update.php and you don't get any warnings or anything like that if you visit it right away. And because we added a new property to a theme function that's actually shown on update.php itself, you get the warning when you visit the update.php page. That issue is 6372. It's been fixed to prevent the warnings on update.php. It should also help other problems that might be similar on update.php. So it might actually help with, for example, upgrading from Drupal 7. But that release or that little fix hasn't gone out yet. It'll be in 127.1, which we have yet to decide like when that will happen. Sooner will probably be better than later, though there's 7 other issues that are closed in 127.1. And historically, we've kind of said that waiting 2 weeks and then we make a point release is kind of our target. And so probably soon, next week is likely that the 127.1 will be coming out to fix that one little issue. But yeah, great release. And the 127.1 milestone is probably, that's the next bug fix milestone. It's probably the smallest it's been in years. There's only 19 open issues in the slated for the next bug fix, and that's because there was so much stuff that got into the last 126 release and then 127.0 itself. So our slate of high priority tickets is smaller than I can remember. It's been in at least 5 years, probably. So that's great. If we want to take a look at the 127.1 milestone, most of them are issues that have pull requests that need review. So they're in pretty good shape. For looking forward towards 128, we don't have any we only have one issue in the 128 milestone. The 128 milestone is where we're going to put, new features, things that we'd like to expand the functionality of Backdrop. And the one thing that's in the 128 milestone is making config storage swappable. That's a long-running issue that we'd like to get in to make it so that running Backdrop on certain cloud environments, most notably Pantheon, could be more easily managed and perhaps a little bit faster by switching to using the database as the storage location for configuration instead of flat files. That issue is held up almost entirely on automated testing. We have some progress getting automated tests running, but essentially we need to run the tests twice. We need to run them once with flat files and then once with database storage, a subset, to make sure that there's no issues that crop up with using database specific config storage, which still won't be the default. Flat file will be the default for now still. So that's the general summary of where we are in releases. Yeah, I'm excited about the config issue, and who knows what things we're going to come up with next. Let's see. For general discussion, somebody popped up issue 6325, and I wasn't here last week, so let me know if this issue's already been discussed. But it's about inconsistent use of styles on the flexible layout builder UI. Jen, you filed this issue at the end of last year in December. Do you know if this issue's been discussed yet or needs to be discussed? I'll share here. Oh, you're muted, Jen.
I haven't looked at this issue in a long time, but my original concern is that we were using things like dotted lines in ways that we hadn't used them on the manage blocks page. There were some weird spacing issues, and I just thought it would be good if we could review how they were used in both places and make sure we treated both interfaces consistently. And it's a little tricky because we have like different concerns in each of them. Like in one place, we're placing things into the layout, and the other thing, we're placing parts of the layout. But just trying to figure out, like giving people an indication of like what you can click on to drag and like where you can put it to drop, I think would be more important. So rather than figuring out like, is this a block or not, you need to figure out like, can I click on it and can I drag it? And so just trying to like get rid of some of like the block styles on the layout building page and stuff like that would be good.
Yeah, team has provided a pull request. I promised to have a look, but I got sidetracked over the week.
Yeah.
But looking from the screenshots, my immediate feedback when we had the meeting, unfortunately, wasn't reported, is that the current situation with the PR improves things, so we should get it as soon as possible and then file follow-ups. I'm not sure if the PR demo works. If it works, then we can see it live.
Oh yeah, that would be a good idea to look at the
Yep.
pull
And I
request
think
instead of a demo.
yeah. Oh, you can fire a demo just to see the side by side, the
Default.
difference between
Yeah.
the two. Yeah. Yeah, so I haven't reviewed the CSS changes, but visually it looks much more consistent.
Great. It's exciting. I love it when I create an issue and then I find out later that somebody fixed it. It's the best thing ever. I was like, I'll come back and work on this later. And it's like, nope, someone else did it for you.
Okay, so here we go. So we've got
Layout
layout templates.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And so this is the sandbox. So this is after the fix has been made. Okay, and then this is structure layouts.
Template.
Templates. Okay. This is before the change. Okay. Oh yeah, okay. So we've got some dots. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
okay. And then this is after. So it's also kind of interesting, just looking.
Yeah.
I don't know how much similarity we want between you know, like the layout UI and the layout template UI, but I don't think
That's
that
what we were
these,
going. Yeah, that's what we were going for.
Yeah,
yeah.
like you want the, but not like you
Oh,
don't
we do
want the
have
blocks
the
to
drop
look the
shadows. Yeah.
same, but you want like the things you click and the things you drag
Hmm.
to look similar.
Yeah, one thing that we mentioned is the sample block. I'm not sure if Tim worked on that. The sample
Yeah,
block thing. Can't remember the discussion, but
Hmm. Wonder if this is a
yeah, it
regression.
sort of like it might confuse people and think that this is a block that they can move. So we wanted to rename that thing to something that's more like this is where blocks go, or block one, block two, dot dot dot, or something like that. That makes it apparent that then they're not actual blocks.
blocks. Well, in Drupal, those were called block regions. I don't know if that's going to be helpful for non-Drupal people, but there is a word for that. We don't like it. We don't need to use it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, this is definitely an improvement just using the dots. Maybe, like I could probably think of further changes or requests that I'd like to make, but maybe like, hey, let's just go for it. There actually are dots on this interface, but they're not blue dots like they were on
Yeah, so these dots are like indicating your droppable area, like where you can drop the thing you're dragging.
hmm
And here we have like a weird, like, I don't even know if there is, like, is the whole thing a droppable
whole-
area,
Yeah,
right?
The
exactly.
whole
So,
There's
area
nothing there's
is.
nothing to drop into because you can't drop
yeah,
into the columns.
so
It's really just arranging the rows. That's all you're
yeah,
doing here.
so I'm not
Yeah.
really sure the dots like apply in this interface.
Yeah. You know what else would help? Uh this looks like it is missing. See how my cursor, or can you see my cursor? It changes to the
yeah,
arrow
yeah,
when
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
when I hover over it, and we don't have that on this page, and it should be the arrow.
Yes.
Right now it's just the text cursor. So that would help a lot for like this is actually super confusing that it doesn't even look like a hand. It looks like the select text uh icon cursor.
indicator, yeah,
Yeah. So I think maybe that would be like let's at least make that one change to update the cursor. But I think this is a good step forward.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll add that to the issue as feedback for Tim to
Oh,
work
that's
on.
funny. It actually used to have the cursor. So this is
Hmm.
the cursor was broken as part of that change.
Yeah, and do you think the cursor should be a move cursor for the entirety of the block besides the configure button, or just the header?
Yeah,
Well,
because
it
you
looks
click
like
on the whole thing.
yeah, it looks like
Yes.
because you can drag it anywhere, then it should be on the whole thing. So,
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yep, yep, yep. Okay.
yep.
I think it might also make sense if we attached the header row description to the area that you were moving. So that it doesn't look like it's inside it. It looks like it's actually defining it. So like on the blocks page, like the breadcrumb bar at the top is part of the block that you move. It's not like inside the block that you're moving. I don't know if that makes any sense when I'm describing it. There's just like a
Yeah.
border around the gray area that I don't think needs to be there here. Like at the very
Oh,
top between the border and the margin and then the dark gray.
Yeah, right
right,
in
right, right,
here.
right.
No,
Yeah.
above that, because
Oh,
that needs to be there because there can be any number of columns in the row, but like right there, yeah. Like it should go the
Yeah.
full
Okay.
width and attached to the top instead of being like indented like the stuff inside.
oh yeah, I see
Because
what you're
it's,
saying.
Yeah,
So
yep,
the
yep.
indentation inside makes total sense because there's
yeah,
actually a space in between these columns. But the title of the region should be all the way up against the edges. The
yeah,
dark,
because
yeah,
it's the
Mm.
row itself.
yep, like it is for these blocks,
Yeah,
basically. That it should be the same thing.
but it is a ton better.
Should we have a higher contrast ratio on this thing?
Yeah, we have this problem all over Backdrop Core where we need to do a little, and I think there's a dedicated issue for accessibility contrast for our grays to make sure that like our text is dark enough where the like gray text is dark enough gray and the black on gray is high enough in all
Okay.
instances. But yeah, like we could, I don't know what the color is here where it says header versus on the default layout where it says header. It looks like it might be a little different.
Because it's
So if
just
you
like
go,
we're like alternating this like light gray and white, and it's really hard to tell.
yeah, I'm not even sure we need the sample blocks here. What do you think? I think that might make it clearer without them.
Maybe.
Well, we
Yeah.
can discuss that in a
I
follow-up
don't know.
too.
Yeah, I think let's yeah, the CS this issue right now is scoped to like the CSS is weird, and so maybe let's
Yeah,
stick to that.
yeah,
Okay.
agree. But yeah,
Okay.
will you go back to the before the change or the no, sorry, the manage blocks interface? So will you look at the color of like the word top?
This here?
Yeah, I think this is darker than the word header on the other interface. Whatever that is. And then will you go to the other page and look at like the, yeah, that word? So the same?
Yeah, it is the same.
Okay. Just my
Copying
brain
and
then.
pasting it, it's the same amount, same value. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's funny. It does look different, doesn't it? I wonder if
I think
it's
this
The
is this
font the
larger
font size is
font.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, the font size isn't the same.
But
Um,
maybe that if we had that be consistent, that might help too.
Oops, sorry. Let me make sure that I have the same zoom. Yeah, it's 133% on both of them, so it should be the same. Yeah.
Yeah, this one is 16
Nate,
pixels and the other one is 1.385 rems.
Yeah, that could be a quick
Uh,
cleanup too.
can you please hover over the layout blocks just to see the type of the cursor that is, if you go back to the block manage blocks. So if you hover over it, not this one, that's the broken one. Either in the layouts or the before.
Oh, okay. The before. Okay, here's the before.
Yeah, so the entire thing is yes, that's good. And I think that it should be this is broken as well because the direction of the move button, it does not indicate these are rows and they can only move up and down. So it was broken before as well.
Yeah. There's
Yeah, I don't
also
think we have
looks like
a,
the hover effect has gone too in the after.
Yeah.
If people find that useful, like
yeah.
used to do some kind of highlight, now it doesn't.
So yeah,
Well,
if you go in
before
the
it was
block
white
management,
and went
sorry,
gray.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just that might require some, oh, it's gray and went white. I don't know.
Hmm.
Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, there's no behavior for that for
Blocks.
blocks though,
Yeah.
so maybe that's fine. Maybe that was intentional.
Yeah, so the blocks can be moved vertically and horizontally because there's regions. So it makes sense that the move cursor, the hover thing is across, like it has up, down, and left and right. But in the flexible layouts, we only move them up and down. So
I don't
I
think
think
we
Yeah.
have an icon in core that only goes up, down, so we might have to add one. That might be a follow-up.
it's not an icon. It's not an icon. It's a default. It's a cursor, a CSS property. So
Oh, there's
Yeah.
also an icon though,
Yeah,
like
there is also
on
this
the rows
icon.
here. Yeah, yeah.
oh right, you mean the icon? Yeah. You're right. You're right.
we use that same icon like on draggable tables or in the field user interface and like we use that all over the place in places where you can only go up and down.
Yeah,
We'll
that's
follow
actually
up for
that's a
that.
good point. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it depends on yeah, if things are nested or not. Yeah. Okay. I think that might be enough discussion on that particular topic. Let's see. We've got 15 minutes. But we don't actually have any other topics for today. Irina requested a new release of the D2B migrate module, and that, that's pretty much the extent of that topic. Okay, new release on the way. But yeah, does anyone else have a topic that they would like to discuss?
Um, how how difficult is it to like replicate the layout UI on something else? Like how much code would you have to duplicate to?
It's not in any way intended to be reused, I don't think.
Okay.
I think even the flexible layout UI might
Is
be
entirely duplicated?
different.
Oh,
Yeah, might be different than the layout UI. I'm not totally certain about that though, just based on my memory. I don't think that it's intended to be reused. Um, the bulk of it is jQuery UI drag and drop. So you're just specifying draggables and droppable regions.
okay.
Um, and then changing the behavior of like on drop, then how do you want to store that data structure? I
Mm,
think ultimately it's just saving it into a big, I think it's just saving it into a text area, but I'm not sure about that.
okay.
Um, there also
There,
is an issue about our layout UI that came up that we haven't addressed yet, and that's adding keyboard support. That our layout UI doesn't have keyboard compatibility yet, and it really should.
oh,
From an accessibility standpoint, we've had some users come in and say, you know, moving blocks is super difficult. Um, and one of the requests is actually something that uh, Greg might hate, is that one of the requests is that when you open the configure link on the block dialog, that we put a weight field back in there so that people can adjust the weight without dragging. Because right now, if you're incapable of using a cursor and dragging and dropping, then you can't actually move your blocks around. And adding a weight field would be a
The,
quick way of making that possible
sure.
again by hitting configure and then changing the weight.
Don't we already have like a keyboard accessible JavaScript that moves things like we already have we already have that in CK editor, the toolbar.
Yep.
We do
Yep, and
that.
the CKEditor toolbar, yep, exactly. So we can port that code, but it needs to be done for every situation because, you know, what the up and down arrows do, like, would be different. For example, like, you know, you need to move, like, if you did left, right, you'd probably want to be moving a block to the next or previous region,
Region.
and that possibly could even be like across rows, maybe, you know, like it should go to the previous region in the previous row if you do left arrow, and that would allow you to actually move blocks across like anywhere you want it, and then up down would be move within a region. So yeah, that behavior would be definitely specialized. I guess another quick fix we could do, we have configure right now on blocks, like you know, you click on a block, you've got configure, remove, and disable in the contextual or in the drop down menu or drop button. There we go. Um, we could have like move up and move down in there too, but that would be, you know, two links for kind of a very small bit of functionality. I'm not sure that I like that idea. I think adding keyboard support would be way better. Yeah. Okay. Any other thoughts?
mm,
Putting it out there. Um, if not, I wouldn't mind closing early today. I have
We have
another
community
meeting.
updates.
Okay. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Jen. Yeah, contrib and community updates. I skipped that section today. Go ahead.
I haven't checked contrib yet because I'm so excited about all the other stuff, but we have two new showcases this week. One of them is from HerpDuel, and it is a website called Freeform Solutions. I think it's running on Bartik and Drupal and is now running on Bartik and Backdrop, and it looks much better. And then Anna Heath from Giant Rabbit posted, I think, one of their first Backdrop sites, which is the SMPTE Registration Authority, which is a nonprofit, which is exciting. And then we have a couple of new contributors. Eli Lessick ported the views block area module, and I believe he was one of the contributors who worked on Anna Heath's Giant Rabbit project, but don't quote me on that. So we have like new sort of agencies coming in, sharing their work and joining the team, which is pretty cool.
mm.
I did not check contrib projects, but let me do that real quick. So we have the restrict by IP module. Did you talk about views merge rows last week? Probably not.
Nope.
Views merge rows module, date repeat API module, read only mode module, administer users by role module, date iCal module, node access, rebuild progressive module, object log module, and field collection feeds, which I think was the last one we did talk about.
Wow. Someone's
been
or
busy.
someone's have been busy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's
So, and I
excellent.
think
It's great
that's
to hear about those.
in the last meeting, Arena was saying that there's been like a huge spike in interest, and Neil has said that there's a huge spike in interest. All of a sudden, people who are on 777 are like, "Oh, we got to do something. Let's go look at Backdrop." I'm seeing that too, like day to day. There's a whole bunch of people who are like, "I didn't know what to do, but now I've got to figure it out," and they're evaluating Backdrop. So I think it being the new year and having 777 end of life be 1 year away sort of lit a fire underneath a bunch of people who hadn't decided what to do with their 777 projects yet. So I'm super excited to see this big flurry of activity in Backdrop World. Showcases, modules ported, contributors, evaluators, everybody's poking around. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was away for a little bit over a month, I think, and finding it even more difficult, like to return and catch up with activity, general observation that we have fresh people working on things. Yeah.
Now you know how we feel, Greg.
Yeah.
When we leave for a little while and Greg's been
And
in issue
maybe
queue.
maybe I should mention that as well. Maybe I should mention that as well. There was I created a new. We already had a Dutch German speaking thread in our chat, and I created a fresh one for the Greek speaking community because we had some volunteering to help with localization. There was an old application that was 5 months ago and I missed it. A fresh one, and we already had another contributor. So there's like a bunch of us now. Yep. So that's that.
Great. We had John join us. John, do you have anything you would like to discuss today?
Just one thing. I was looking at some page source on a Backdrop site that I did, and then the one that's featured now. And I noticed that when we have main content, that it doesn't put a main HTML tag on it, and also the menu doesn't put a nav tag on it. It would seem like that would be something for basically to be fully semantic, that Backdrop would do that.
So it really
I
depends.
agree.
Like for the main tag, we do that on layouts where it's very obvious which region is the main region. But if there's a layout that has like 3 equal columns, like we don't know which one of those you've chosen to be your main column, so it wasn't safe for us to make a semantic decision about which one of those should be main. You do have the ability, though, if you're creating your own custom layout templates, you can change the tag around any given region. And I'm not sure anyone's working on it yet, but we do have an idea to take one of the standard layouts from Backdrop Core, and we'll have a button which will say like convert to layout, custom layout template or whatever. And then you'll be able to change the stuff you already have theoretically. So we know it's not perfect. We did the best we could with assuming stuff like that. And with a nav tag, I think we do have a nav tag under some circumstances. Like I think the smart menus drop-down menu has it, but the sidebar menu might not have it. I think the account menu might not have it. So it's like in some instances it's not there, in some instances it is. If you find a place where you think it should always be there and we've lost it, if you create an issue, that's definitely something we can look at. We do have to be careful about how we change the markup because we don't want to break anyone's existing site, but that is something that could probably go into like Backdrop 2 with some good notes. We don't know yet. We might not be able to break anything ever, but we'll see if we can figure. We could deprecate something and make something new.
Okay, that was the only thing I had.
Yeah, please let us know.
The single column layout doesn't have a main element. That's kind of a weird thing that
Yeah,
like
that's where I was
the
actually.
two column layout does. It's got the sidebar and then it's got the main content
Yeah.
area, and there is a main element, but on the
Well, that's
single
because it's
column layout,
obvious.
which
I don't know why
includes
it's not in single column.
which
Yeah.
includes the home page of backdrop sites.
Oh, doesn't
you
that
know,
have a
there's no
header
main
in it?
element.
If there's only one region, it has a header and a footer, right?
Header and footer, but the main, like if you're in main content, it doesn't put a main.
Yeah, so you can't have a main tag around a header and a footer tag and have that be semantic. That I think it needs to be a separate area. I think that's why we might have done it there. Because you can't have
But
your
we
page
have a
header.
we have just a content region in that layout
Okay,
that's in the middle.
that's separate from the header and footer region.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no excuse for that.
Yeah, we've got a top, and then we have a content area, and
Okay,
top is where the 3 cards are, and I would imagine, based on the way Bartik is set up, it's made for 3 cards or like a hero image or something like up there, and so the content area should probably be main. Like that's
yeah,
strange.
yeah. I don't know why
I
that
mean,
was.
Well,
it does
nice
put a,
nice spotting, John.
Yeah,
Because
please
some of
file
you
an
didn't.
issue.
Yeah.
it
That's
does
something we
have
should
an,
fix.
it does put an area label on it, but it doesn't put a main HTML tag. So,
Yeah,
and
maybe I'll go
the
back
reason
and
I
check
thought
the
it was I
queue.
was looking at some of the WordPress page builders, and there are a couple that, particularly the Bricks builder, which allows for some really fully semantic markup. But anyway, that was it. It wasn't a big deal. I just wanted to point it out.
Yeah. So I guess
Yeah,
we do. Yeah, like you say, we do have that. We've got role equals main on here and aria label equals main content, which honestly, like we should still open the
we might
issue,
have
but
added,
we might be stuck with that markup for now.
I think we might have run into this before, and that's why we added the role and the ARIA attribute, is because we couldn't change the tag without breaking existing sites. So we had like a halfway fix that's like, we'll add the attributes, and then there might be a follow-up issue to like switch it to main in the future, and we won't break everybody's sites. But I would definitely, I'm gonna go search the queue and see if I can find that now, but that does sound familiar.
I feel like these markup changes are going to be like most of what we do in Backdrop
Backdrop
2.
yeah,
It's like,
that's what.
we should probably have a list somewhere of like all the markup changes we want to make.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we should file
And
the
we have
issue
the meeting.
anyway and put it into the backdrop 2 milestone. The backdrop 2
Yeah.
milestone, when you look at it, is kind of disappointing because there's not like any giant shiny feature. It's all just like change
Well,
this thing.
That's because we moved all of the giant features out of 2 and into 1 when we realized we could make it back.
Yes, we successfully put almost every feature we can think of into 1. So yeah, there's very few things that we've needed to hold off on. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and wrap up for today. Thank you everybody for being here. Really appreciate your input, and of course the work as always in the issue queue. We'll look forward to making the 127.1 release sometime next week. And yeah, if there's things you want to see in that release, then get cracking. Yeah, but thank you everybody, and we'll close out and see everybody next week.
Thanks. Bye.
All right, bye everybody.